Hello, my friends. This is Jay here, all the way from Australia. As you know, you've seen me on Life Theories with my friends Diana, Sarah, and Cortez, and also the 1111 Spiritual Transit podcast with the Heart Foundation's tag team partner, Jackie Lyons. So we welcome you to our chat today. We've got a great friend of ours over in Chicago, Illinois. His name's Steve Forchetti. I got it right. He actually said to me off air, I got it right for the first time. So he's here to have a chat about what he is doing in the spiritual community and his journey in his life and how spirituality and his journey have connected. And I've read his bio and I can't wait to have a chat to him. Steve, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And as the energy's gotten more intense, I'm feeling myself kind of going through this purification process.
That's a funny thing. That's a funny thing there, Steve. Purification. Tell us about your purification process. Where that term I've heard in different ways, but tell us about yours. That's a really interesting point because a lot of people want to hear about that.
Yeah, so for me, that whole thing, like I kind of dipped my toes in the water when I first discovered ayahuasca back in 2019. Because when you're getting ready for a plant medicine ceremony, they always talk about having like your diet, like your spiritual diet. So for that, it was like cutting out pork products, cutting out alcohol, sexual encounters and things like that for the couple weeks or months leading up to it. And it was just kind of like a way of dipping my toes in that. But now that I'm in a committed relationship, sex is okay. What they're talking about is like casual encounters, basically.
Yeah. So having a proper union, like everyone, like everyone would like. I mean, just like in the mammals, we want that. We want that union in some way, whether it be soulmate, twin flame, whatever it may be.
The big difference is that, and this goes into also using substances, is that you need to treat things as sacred. And I found, especially with working with the ayahuasca retreat, that a lot of people don't treat things as sacred anymore. Because when you think of the word sacred, it means to make holy. So if you have a sacred plant medicine, oftentimes in the past, in history, you would only ever take, if you would take ayahuasca, it would only ever be once in your life. And that's all you would need for your entire life, is just to kind of get clearance, to have like an initiation of sorts into your culture, into your path, whatever it is. You take this medicine one time and maybe a second time down the line. Now we have people who, it seems like casually every month or two, are going back for ceremony and stuff like that, or they're just taking acid like it's M&Ms and all these different plants and things. People seem to associate the faults of humankind with the faults of God, saying that if a priest does something badly, that's God doing it badly. So we kind of just tethered that connection. If you think of it from a spiritual sense, that's our crown chakra. We're closing our crown chakra, cutting off the cord to God, cutting off our connection to that.
Yes.
So basically, to make things sacred is to remember that connection to the divine, and to remember that this plant is a tool, or this thing is a tool to bring you back to oneness with that. Now, I don't think that plant medicine is the end-all, cure-all. I think that it's a very valuable tool, but it's not a sustainable path. You can't take acid every couple of days and expect to keep your sanity. You can't take mushrooms every couple of days and expect to keep your sanity. I mean, even with microdosing, it's just meant to be a medicine, and you wouldn't take Tylenol every single day for the rest of your life.
No, that's exactly right.
It's probably a problem.
Right. That's exactly right.
These are things to kind of get you back to a point where you can then sustain the practice on your own through things like meditation, yoga, kirtan, different things like that.
100%, because I think 100% with you, because when I'm an ex-pro wrestler, and I did my back in years ago, about 12 years ago, and you're given the gifts and I call it the bat belt of gifts again, like Batman and all that stuff. But you're given these gifts to actually help you assist, but you've got to do the work within yourself. And you're exactly right, mate. I think a lot of people are disconnecting from that, and they just want the quick remedy. How do you feel about that?
That's exactly what's happening. I think that it's, me personally, I think that it's by design, but it's up to us as people, as individuals and groups, to kind of just resist that. I had, and I'm going to jump around a little bit here.
Go for it.
I had a really jacked up, messed up spine injury a couple years ago. And it was right after my first ever ayahuasca ceremony. And I saw during that time images of what my life was going to be like years down the road. And in those images, I saw that I was not in a wheelchair. So when I was in my wheelchair in the hospital, I just kind of knew to myself, like, this is not how it's going to be. And that thought kind of gave me the will to carry on and to figure out how to work through my physical therapy and recover. And in that process, I knew that because there's such an opioid crisis throughout the world, or at least in the States. I don't know about the rest of the world, but it seems like it's a global thing with painkillers and things like that. I didn't want to take any painkillers. I took maybe Tylenol just a couple times here and there when things got really bad if I got a headache, but I refused to do it because I knew that that was just going to numb me. And all of the things that were happening because I had numbed and suppressed different emotions over the years. I'm of the firm belief that all physical disease begins as mental dis-ease.
Fantastic.
So what I was doing shadow work to process those things while I was in the hospital in my bed, and doing the unbottling of the emotions I had stored. So I was in that toxic relationship that I mentioned earlier, and in the process I became a very spineless person. So of course that manifested as me becoming spineless. I had a spine injury. So I was doing the things that it took while I was laying up in bed to fix that, and in the process my spine recovered.